Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga. This month, in the month of April 2021, our theme of the month is finding strength. So last month, we did a lot of flexibility. We did yin classes. Finding length was our theme. So make sure if you missed any of those to go back to the YouTube channel and spend some time really stretching the muscles out. This month, we're working on strengthening. And with strengthening, this is an all levels class, so I really want to give you options for some of the movements that might be difficult with a lot of time on your hands, wrists. So I have a chair as an option. If you're using your chair for any of these movements, caution, make sure that it is firmly secured onto your yoga mat so that if you put your hands on it, it doesn't go sailing out from underneath you. But I'll give you some options for some of the things on our hands to do those on the chair. I also have my yoga block strap and my little cushion or blanket as usual. I really want you to listen to your bodies because we are going to feel some intensity in these strength training movements in our legs and take breaks at any time that you might need to do that. So let's start standing on your mat. And as we come into mountain pose, I really enjoy putting my feet firmly together, pressing my knees inward, squeezing the inner thighs. That makes me feel strong from the ground moving up. But sometimes in this position, you'll feel a little bit out of balance. So when you stand in mountain, if you'd like to separate your feet a little bit, lengthen through here and have a wider base of support. If your feet are hips distance, your knees need to be hips distance as well. And I tend to be a little knock-kneed, so that's another reason I like to stand with the legs together. But I want you to be wherever you feel comfortable as we come into our mountain pose. So just closing your eyes for a minute or two, lengthen through your spine, and I want you to just set an intention for your practice today. And what does setting an intention mean? It means expectations or goals of where you'd like to be today in your practice. Setting the bar for yourself. Reaching for that level that you would like to attain and achieve today. And if you don't have an expectation, if you don't have a goal, just open yourself for possibilities today to learn and to grow in your yoga practice. And we all vow to take care of our bodies and not to push beyond our own limitations. So let's begin to warm up the shoulders and the hips and the thighs and the ankles. We'll inhale to press the arms up, palms come together. Exhale, thumbs come to the heart and sink into chair. And sweep those arms out and up. Exhale into chair. So we'll be doing a fair amount of poses today that require this chair pose position. So I really want you to cement that into your muscle memory, proper alignment with your chair. So sometimes I see chair pose and it's a bend over at the waist. So we're not bending over, so I want you to look straight ahead, eyes on the horizon, and keep that chest up. Is your upper body slightly tipped forward? Yes, it is. You'll need that to come into proper alignment of your chair pose. You should feel your weight sinking back into your heels. So if you feel like you're tipping forward onto your toes, then lift your toes off the mat so you're not having that tendency to do that, and set your weight right down into your heels. That'll bring you into a better alignment with your chair. And then let's reverse the arms. So as they press at heart center, reach up, circle around behind you, and press in. Now, shoulders can be very tender places in our body, so I want you to take your time and go through a range of motion that feels okay for you. If you feel any pain in your shoulders, maybe you're not doing these circles today, or doing a little shoulder roll instead of bringing your arms all the way up. Now, find the breath with this movement. Inhale to rise, Exhale to sink down. And you're thinking about grounding into those feet, pressing into the ball mound of the big toe, the baby toe, the center of the heel, and keeping your arches nicely lifted. Let's do one more, and then sink into your chair and hold. I want you to do small little lifts and lowers. So the muscles we're working here as we're building strength in our legs are quadriceps, the fronts of the thighs, the glutes, really strong functional muscles. If we keep those strong, we'll be able to adequately get in and out of our chairs and our cars with functionality and with strength. Try to use both legs equally. Try not to dominate with your stronger side. And hold that chair pose one more time. And then just press up to mountain. Excellent. Separate the feet wide with your toes turned out. Now, when we turn our toes out and sink into a squat here, our goddess squat position, if our toes are turned out too wide, sometimes our knees will collapse inward. So if you can't keep your knees tracking over the second and third toes, turn your toes in a little bit more so that when you bend your knees, you've got that nice tracking and alignment. And we'll come up from 5-pointed star, spread your fingers, and then pull your elbows back and open up your chest into moonflowers. And inhale, stretch up. Exhale, sink down. Now I want you to explore different ranges of motion with this goddess squat so that you're not always sitting into the same range of motion every time. So maybe you have a little one, and then maybe you try one that's a little deeper than you usually do. If that doesn't feel okay, just keep exploring that range of motion. Now I want you to build strength in your upper back by really pulling your shoulder blades together, pulling your elbows back, and creating that nice dynamic tension in the upper back, strengthening those muscles and allowing your chest to open. Nice and expansive. It really helps us with good posture. One more moonflower. Now hold this. Pull the belly in, down and up, small ones. Now if your shoulders get tired, you can still bring your hands to your hips and pull your shoulder blades back. I've still got that tension in the upper back, but I'm not lifting my arms to work the deltoids. Down and up. Zip up the abs, slightly tuck the tailbone so you don't have a big sway in your back. And we'll do 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. And then rise up, releasing your arms down. Preparing for sunflowers. So we'll sweep the arms up. They can cross at the wrists. And then as you bend your knees, hinge your hips forward and let your wrists cross in front of you. And reach up, inhale, and reach down. So I am bowing forward on this one, but I have my spine nice and neutral, and my weight is still in the heels. Now, if this bothers your back to bend forward, just keep it up here and do your sunflowers lifted. That hinge forward is going to start to warm up a little bit more through your hamstrings, but there is some work in your lower back here. So be real careful of this exercise. Make sure it feels okay for you. Now I'd like to add a bit of a cleansing breath. So inhale as you come down, exhale through your mouth. And you can just let your arms swing. Let everything go. Breathe in and up. 3 more repetitions. And 2 1, and reach up. Grab your right wrist with your left hand, stretch upward, and then side bend. We'll just hold this. You can stay with straight legs, or you can come down into a little knee bend to continue to work those legs. Now release the wrist. Bring the other hand across the body and turn your palms so that your left hand is pushing towards the right wall and your right hand is pushing towards the left wall. And we will press and up. Press and up. Now, if this top arm bothers you in your shoulder, you don't have to use that arm. Just press across and up. We're finding some strengthening here in our core, into that lower back, QL, quadratus lumborum muscle, and through the obliques. 3. Exhale to stretch. 2. And 1. And lower that arm. Straighten the legs if they are bent. Reach up, grab the left wrist with the right hand, extend upward, and then just stretch. So whenever we do a side bend, we're not collapsing into this shorter side. We're still keeping some length here. We're just making more length on that extended side. And then you can also come down and bend the knees. The right arm is going to press the palm towards the left. The left hand presses the palm to the right, and we push. Push. Good. That upper arm can come down. Exhale each time you push. Good. Now your pelvis isn't moving. This is just in your spine. And 5 more. Zip up those abs. 4. Transverse abdominis engaged. 3. 2. And 1. And come up, relaxing that arm down. Good job. Roll the shoulders back. Now we have twists. I would like you to press your palms at your heart center and push in a little bit so you feel these muscles of your chest engaging. Sink back down into that squat. Start to turn to your right and twist and come back to center. Right side twist. And you're pushing into your palms to create your own resistance. Feel this in the back side of your obliques, the back side of your rib cage on that right side. Exhale. Looking that direction. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Take a break for the legs. Inhale. Exhale. You can bend those knees. Press into the palms. Abs engaged. Rotate left and center. So I'm turning at a fairly quick rate. I mean, moderately quick, but I'm not doing this with momentum. I'm doing it with strengthening. Exhale. Exhale. Really look over that shoulder. 5. 4. Keep pressing into your palms. Strengthen those wrists. 3. 2. And 1. Straighten those legs. Release the arms. Take 1 breath in. And exhale. Okay. Using your chair as an option, we are going to start to transition from a forward fold into a crescent lunge and then back stepping forward into forward bend. So I want to give you the option with the chair first. So if you're using the chair, we'll face it, take a nice breath in, then exhale into forward fold. You can put your hands on the chair or down to the mat. You'll step the right foot back, ball of the foot connects with the mat, and then come up to crescent lunge. Then transitioning sides, if you're using your chair, bring your hands to the chair, step your back foot forward, inhale, come up, Exhale, swan dive back down to forward bend, hands to the chair or your mat. Step your left foot way back behind you and rise up to crescent. So you're going to be doing this pattern or flow of movements at your own pace. And if you're not using the chair, your hands come all the way down to the mat, stepping one foot back, a nice big step back, coming up to your crescent, working on your balance and strength of that front leg, stepping back into your forward fold and coming up. Now you can stay in your crescent as long as you want, or just keep flowing one breath with each movement. So we are building strength in our legs, in our core. And as you come into crescent, if you don't want to lift your arms up, then just press your palms at your heart and just strengthen your wrists for a moment. And then step back forward into that lunge. I love the chair as an option for this, especially if you are tight in your hamstrings and touching the floor as you step back into that lunge is difficult for you to get there. The movement is exactly the same. So I want you guys to just really to stay away from the mindset of feeling like you're cheating if you're using your props. It's not cheating to use the chair. It's a progression. It's a modification. And many styles of yoga always use the props. Okay, so I'd like for you to get one more on each side. Stepping the right leg back into that crescent. A lot of balance here, a lot of stability. And then one more, stepping that left leg back. You should be feeling your body very warm now and the heart rate coming up. And last one, coming up to your mountain and rest. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes for just a second, just check in and notice how you're feeling. Maybe even placing the hand at the heart and at the belly, noticing that beating of your heart, that energy coursing through your veins. The breath is really increased. And then bring your arms back down by your sides. Okay, so we stepped from forward bend into crescent. If you need to come back and work on that, if the next section is a little too strenuous, you have that to go to. Or we will come into downward facing dog and step forward into crescent. So let's take a nice big inhale. Exhale, forward bend, and walk your hands way out onto the top of your mat and walk your feet back behind you and take a downward dog. Now, before we start to begin our sequence, you can pedal out your feet a little bit, bending the right knee to press the left heel towards the mat, and bending the left knee to press the right heel towards the mat. Now, in downward dog, we want to have our chest pressing back towards the thighs so we're not over our wrists with our shoulders. That's too much stress on the wrists. So we want to really push back. If we're doing our down dog properly, if you look to the right, you should be looking under your right armpit. If you look to the right and you're looking over your arm, your shoulders are not quite in the right position. Okay, so let's hold that nice downward dog. And our next sequence is we will lift the right leg up, take a big step towards the top of your mat between your hands, and then come up into your crescent. Once you find your balance there, your hands go back down to the mat, and press yourself back to your down dog. Then you'll do the other side. Left leg raises up, big step through, rising up. Now this is much more difficult than that first sequence. So if you can't get your foot all the way between your hands, it might look like this. Raise your leg up, and if you step in and get it about here, pick your hand up, grab your ankle, and help your foot come forward. And then come up. You want to make sure that leg is all the way up so it's in good alignment before you stand up, so you don't place any undue pressure on your knee. Because if you step halfway up right here and try to come up into crescent, your knee is in the wrong position. There's too much stress here on that. It's called femoral compression. So you want to bring that leg forward. There's a lot of little tricks to being able to do this as you're building strength and learning. But I want you to think about using your core as you bring that leg through. You might even pick your right hand off the mat as you step the right foot forward, and that might give you space to bring that leg through. And pressing back. And again, you can go back to using your chair in the similar fashion. So your hands can be on the chair. You can come to a chair down dog. You can lift your leg up, step forward, and come into crescent lunge. Then put your hands on your chair, push back to a chair down dog, and do the other side. So it's a wonderful option, wonderful prop to use. All right, let's do one more of each, whichever style you've got going today. And this is an energetic sequence. So it's normal for you to be feeling a little bit breathless now. One more on the left. And then we'll press back to our down dog together. And then let your knees drop down to the mat and rest. Take a breather in child's pose. So your wrists might need a little bit of a stretch here after all of those down dogs, so you can roll your wrists out a couple times each direction. You can also bring your arms back beside the thighs and just roll your shoulders forward and rest. So we're going to come back to down dog in a bit, but I want to give your wrists a nice break before we do that. So we'll go back into strengthening of the legs. So let's bring our arms forward, tuck the toes, lift the hips, and then walk, step, or jump your feet back towards the top of your mat. We'll inhale to a half lift, exhale and fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Come all the way up, press your palms, and we're back to a stand. So when we do poses like chair, even though we're not consciously thinking about it, sometimes a stronger leg will actually support us. And you can feel if you come to chair, you can slightly tip your body weight over into your right leg and you can pick up your left heel. So this leg isn't working much. And then you can shift over to the other side and pick up your right heel. So we are going to work on this, transferring our weight to the right side, to the left side, without moving our body. Wonder if you could stick a block on your head. Anybody wants to try that at home? Put a block on your head and then hold your chair pose. So again, we're not here. The block's going to fall off if we're bent over too much. So nice and lifted with the stance, with your position. Knees are bent any amount. Hold this and then unweight the left foot without moving anything else and pick your foot up off the floor. Doesn't have to be very high. And then set it back down without moving anything else. Shift your body weight over into that left foot. Pick up the right foot. And just go back and forth. You're staying low into chair the whole time. So try not to rise and fall with the rest of your body as you're doing this shift. Your pelvis stays really neutral. So as you shift over and stand on one leg, try not to twist through your hips. Good. Let's do 2 more on each leg. This is a great strength builder and wonderful for our balance. Keep those knees tracking nicely. Abs are zipped up to help you with this. Shoulders are back. 1 more on each side. Great job, great job. Finishing in your chair pose, nice and solid. Equal strength into both legs. And then press into the feet and come up. Shoulders are back. Great. So last week we worked on moving from warrior 1 to warrior 3. It's challenging, so have your chair close by if you need that for balance. But I'm going to add a step here. So if you come up to your chair or to the top of your mat, we'll come into chair pose. So feel those legs working. From chair pose, step your right foot back you'll unweight that right foot and step it back into warrior 1 or crescent lunge. Then hinge forward and lift off the back leg. Come to warrior 3. Step back to warrior 1, and then keeping this front knee bent, step forward into chair. Now stay low. Unweight your left foot. Step it back to warrior 1. A little bit of a turnout with that back foot. Lift up off the back leg to warrior 3. Level hips. Step back to warrior 1. Step forward into chair. So doing the sequence at your own pace. Unweight the foot. Step back. Now when you come into your warrior 3, I want you to keep a fair amount of a bend in your front knee. Because when we're bending that knee, we're strengthening the quad and the glute. If the leg is straight, we kind of take the quadricep out of the movement. So keep a little bend in that knee. Stepping in. Think about your posture and your alignment. This is a challenging sequence. We've got a lot going on. Keeping your awareness on your focal point, your drishti, to help you with balance. And we'll do 1 more on each side. Really strong standing leg, strong ankle. You'll finish with 1 with the left leg. And once you step into chair, hold your chair pose 5 breaths. Isometric strengthening for those legs. And they might be shaken a little bit. We've used them a lot this morning already. 4 more breaths. Check your posture, shoulder blades down. Zip up your core. And once you have that last exhalation out, press through the feet, give your legs a break, and we come up. Okay, we will be coming down to the mat for a dolphin pose, a dolphin push-up. If for some reason it bothers your shoulders to come down to the mat, you can use your chair for dolphin. So in dolphin pose, we have this position with our arms, and you can grab your elbows, and that will let you know how far apart your arms need to be, and then you can interlace your hands. So if you're using the chair, again, make sure it's not going to move anywhere, and you'll bring this dolphin position down onto the top of your chair, and then you can walk your feet back to a dolphin and open up your shoulders and your armpits. When we do a dolphin push-up, we glide forward so our shoulders come over the elbows, and then we push back into dolphin. So essentially the movement is extension of your shoulders. They're the ones that are doing this exercise. So you're either there on your chair or we're down onto the mat. We have our elbows, shoulders distance apart. We tuck the toes and lift into dolphin. And again, dolphin is like down dog, where if you're in dolphin and you look to the side, you should be looking under your armpit. And then we come forward and push back. This is also a tricep extension movement because I'm straightening my elbows a bit and then I'm bending them. So really good strengthener for your shoulders and your triceps. If you don't have a chair and these tricep push-ups are still really tough, come down to your knees and come forward and push back. It's almost like you're coming back to a child's pose with your elbows on the floor. And we'll do 3 more repetitions, whatever place you're at. Bracing the abs. If you need a break sooner, please take it and rest in child's pose. And 2. 1 more. Press back to dolphin, any style you'd like, and hold 3 breaths. Now your head should not be on the floor. So I want you to lift up, up, up out of those shoulders so your head is suspended. And on your 3rd exhalation, we'll bring our hands back behind us in child's pose and let those shoulders rest forward. It's a lot of work for the core, the triceps, and the shoulders. But what was nice is we didn't have to use our wrists. So I want to come back to one more sequence where we'll be using our hands. And I'm going to give you 2 modifications that are less of a challenge on your wrists. So we'll all do the first one together. So come up to your hands and knees. Nice Hasta Bandha, fingertips spread, thumbs slightly tucked in. So walk your hands in front of you just a little bit so they're at an angle, and send your right leg back behind you. And then push your body back. So I'm stretching my hands way out. And then as you come forward, pull your knee in and round your back. So you're going to push back like you're in a kneeling downward dog and come in. So this is our modification for 3-legged dog. We'll do 1 more on this side. Reach up. Pull in, reach up and hold, and then set that knee down. So we'll all practice it on the other side before I give you a little bit harder option. So the left leg goes up, push yourself back like you're coming into a down dog, and then come forward and pull your knee in. Round your back a little bit and hollow out your belly. Push back and come in. 3 more reps for 5. And 2. One more. Then reach that leg back, hold, and set your knee down. So this can be done from the hands and knees. It can also be done the same with your hands on your chair. So that's a great option. If you go all the way up to the most challenging option, we'll come into a downward dog. So tuck your toes under, lift your hips up. The right leg comes up into 3-legged dog. Then as you come forward into a plank, pull your knee forward towards your nose and around your back. You'll do 5 repetitions. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, come in. Now it's okay to drop that knee down, especially if you're feeling any pain in your shoulders or your wrists, or put your hands up on the chair. Just make sure it's not going to slide out from you. 2 more. 1 more. Then hold your 3-legged dog, stretch that leg up, set the foot down, drop your knees, and take a break for your shoulders and your wrists back to your child's pose. Okay, we have 1 more set on the other side, choosing from your knees, using your chair, or we'll come up to down dog. 3-legged dog with the left leg lifted, stretch it up. Glide forward to a plank, so your shoulders are going to come over your wrists. Pull that knee forward. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, pull it in. 3 more repetitions. A wonderful strength builder for the core and for those shoulders and wrists. And 2 more. 1 more, reach up. Then hold your 3-legged dog and return that foot down to your mat. Drop your knees and rest in child's pose. Bring those arms back behind you. Woo! Okay, we are done being on our hands today, on our wrists. We're done being on our shoulders. And we're pretty much done with our quad work too. So I want to zero in a little bit more on your core and also hamstrings. So we will come down onto our backs. Seated on our mat. And if you're like me, I need a little bit of padding underneath my tailbone. So I'm going to bring my blanket here and have a seat on it. So if you have a block, and it's okay if you don't, I'd like you to put that block in between your knees to press in and to have that connection with your inner thighs, your transverse abdominis, your pelvic floor. So you have a little squeeze there. On a scale of 1 to 10, we're going to press in maybe about a 4 or a 5. We're really going to press. Then hinge yourself back with your abdominals, and we can hold this for our boat pose. Or we can start to lift those feet up off the floor, squeezing the block. Now really think about your posture here. So try not to shrug your shoulders up. If your arms are tired, just relax them here. You can even hold onto your thighs, or you can put your hands down on the floor. They don't have to be up and working again. Keep pressing into that block. Now we're going to add a twist with this to the right side only. So if we have our arms here, we're going to rotate out to the right and come to the center. If you don't want your arms out, just reach your hand behind you and come to center. 3 more. Your feet can be down. 2. Rotate. And 1 more twist. Now relax those feet and sit yourself up. Total break. This is really intense on the core, so I want to make sure you're taking the level that you can do properly without other muscles that are trying to come in and compensate. So if feet need to be down, that's great. If you don't want to shift back a whole bunch, you can be more upright. Squeeze into the block, about a 4 or a 5. Hold, zip up your abs. Shoulders are down. 5 twists to the left. Open and close. Now, if your feet are up, it's harder to keep your pelvis stable when you're twisting. So if you feel like you're coming out of alignment when your feet are up, Place those feet back down to the floor. 2 more reps. Twist. 1 more. Ooh, shaking, shaking. And come up and take a break. Excellent. While we're up, let's remove the block, separate the knees, and take a little stretch into our butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana. Nice long spine, not too much hunching or rounding in your back, just hinge right through that space. Relaxing through your inner thighs, your lower back, your hips, and your glutes. Okay, so coming back up to our boat pose, next variation is we'll hinge back a little bit, feet on the mat, and we lift up the right leg and you can hold behind it and straighten and bend the knee. So this is some dynamic flexibility. So each time you straighten up, feel the back of the leg lengthening. And then your option, if you'd like to, is to pick the bottom foot off the floor, straighten, and bend. Another option with this is to take your peace fingers, make a yogi toe lock around the right big toe, straighten, bend. You can do that with that bottom foot on the floor or lifted. 3, choose the one that works for you. 2, and 1, bend the knee, release the leg, and sit yourself up. Let your knees open and hinge through the space to relax. So sometimes if our abs are getting really tired when we're doing things like that boat pose, you'll start to feel it in your back because your abs are not maintaining enough strength to keep your spine in neutral. So if you're ever feeling anything in your low back, I want you to come out of it or make adjustments. Either take a stretch or just rest so you're not feeling that tension in your back and in your spine. Okay, let's do the other side. So we're going to close the knees together. We can lift the left leg up and hold behind the thigh, straighten, and bend. Now you could do this with a toe point, or you can flex your ankle and straighten. You might not be able to get your leg as lengthened because that puts that calf muscle on stretch. Either way is fine. I want you to do the one that works best for you. You can pick your bottom foot off the floor. You can find that yogi toe lock. So you take peace fingers, you wrap it around your thumb and then or your big toe, and you put your thumb right on the top of your toe. And then we can go straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. Let's get 3 more. Up and 2 and 1. Bring that leg back down. Both feet come to the floor. Let your knees open. 1 more stretch through the center. What do you think, guys? You want to try both sides? Ooh, both sides can be challenging. So I'm going to give you some options for both sides. You can put your hands behind you and you can just straighten your legs up and put your feet back down on the floor. This is a great way to do this exercise, building some strength in your core. You can hold behind your thighs, straighten your legs up and bend, or you can take a double yogi toe lock around both toes, and we can straighten the legs up and bend. So let's do 6 of them wherever you're at. Up and down. 5 more. Up, down. 4 more. Up, down. 3 more. Up. Brace those abs. Last 2. And 1. Now just walk your legs straight forward. Take a nice breath in and a forward bend. Woo! Challenging. This might be a keeper on YouTube to go back and repeat later as we're building strength. Okay, one of our most important poses for keeping the knees in good health is a bridge, and for our glutes and hips. And the reason is we do a lot of quad dominant exercises, and the bridge really works our hamstrings. So let's come down onto your back. And you can even use your chair for a bridge. So I'm going to show that option. You can come down onto your back and put your heels up onto your chair, or your feet are going to be flat on your mat. And we press down into the feet and lift the hips up. Now, if you try this on a chair, there's something about this that makes it more intense in your hamstrings. So again, it's not cheating to have your legs on a chair. It's a wonderful option to try this and get a different sensation and a different training effect for those hamstrings. Lift and lower. Does a bridge have to be super high? No, it doesn't, unless you're working on back bending. And then you're, okay, we want to get a higher bridge. If we're working on this, we don't have to have a high bridge, because you'll notice if you just lift an inch off the floor, those muscles are going to switch on. They're working. So don't feel like you have to come up really high to get the benefit out of these bridges. Exhale to come up, inhale to lower. Let's do 4 more. Up and down. Try to use both legs the same amount of intensity. 3. And coming up, 2. Hold this last one up. I want to get 10 little pulses at the top without dropping your hips. Here's 1 and 2. Stay with me. 3. I feel the burn. 4. Hamstrings and glutes. 6. Shoulders are relaxed. 7. Abs are tight. 8. You're breathing. 9 and 10. And lower those hips down. Okay, right from here, we'll do our figure 4 stretch. So you can keep your legs on the chair if you're using it. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh. And this might feel like enough of a stretch for you. And if it is, then just stay here and relax into this pose. Or we can lift that bottom foot off the chair, maybe even reach through the window here and take hold of that left hamstring and pull the legs in towards you. If you like a deeper stretch, you can roll yourself over and come into pigeon. Those of you that know that pose and you prefer to do that, that's great, because we're going to do both sides. And then just relax and breathe. I like to have my feet flexed when I'm in figure 4 or pigeon, because my knees have a fair amount of arthritis. And if you flex this foot, it's going to engage these muscles right here that attach around the knee and help to keep it in a firm place while we're doing this rotation. So we'll feel it more in our hip and less in our knee if we have this foot flexed. And we can flex the other one just for good measure as well. All right, let's switch those legs. Crossing the left ankle over, this knee is open. Maybe staying here if this is enough stretch in your left glute. Or pick it up and you can reach through and pull those legs in towards you a bit. And so your ankle is flexed. If you feel any pain in your knees, be real careful with that, not to push it. You can also do this pose just sitting up in your chair, just sitting as you normally would. Pick up one ankle and cross it over your thigh and just bend forward a little bit at the waist to feel that stretch. Now just key into your breath. We've done a lot of strenuous activity today, a lot of work, a lot of strength building. So let everything just start to melt away. No tension. Even as you're holding this leg towards you, try not to tense your muscles too much. Just soften. And we'll take one more breath here on this side. And then lowering down. So let's stretch our hamstrings here. You can use your yoga strap. Oh, mine's slightly out of my reach, but if you're using your yoga strap, you can place it under the bottom of the right foot, extend that leg up, and pull it in toward you. Now, if you're using the chair and you'd like to get a little bit more stretch on the other leg, you can just slide it underneath your chair and lengthen it all the way down and hold that stretch. Let's stay here a good minute or so, lengthening out that muscle. And if you feel like you need to come across for a little bit of IT band, you can move that leg across the midline just a little bit, or maybe open it out to the side to get a little bit of inner thigh. Wherever this pose feels good for you today. Let's take some nice deep breaths. This is also a wonderful time to do some ankle pumps, so you can point and flex. Or maybe a couple of circles around. Might not be as easy if you're using your yoga strap, whatever you have to work with there. And one more breath here in our hamstring stretch. And as you exhale, you can set that leg down on the chair, bring the other knee up, and slowly unfold that leg, maybe using your strap under that ball of the foot. Find your lengthening here, and then we can let that bottom leg come all the way down to the mat. That's going to release this hip flexor. And just find your edge, that place where you feel a nice stretch without a lot of effort, without straining. And breathe low into the belly, or maybe connect with the Ujjayi breath, that whisper ocean breath. Maybe closing your eyes or softening your gaze. We can point and flex or circle the ankle. Two more breaths to hold, about 10 seconds. And then we'll bring both knees right into the chest, hug them in tight. Press that lower back down. You can make some circles with the knees, or maybe rock a little bit side to side to massage the lumbar spine. And then we've got 3 minutes in legs up the wall, legs on the chair, or in any other pose for relaxation for your Shavasana today. So we can have our legs braced on our chair here, nice and relaxed. You can separate them a little, let your knees slightly open. With legs up the wall, we'll take the legs straight up. You can move yourself to a wall at your house so you have your legs relaxed on the wall. Or you can bring your yoga strap up over both feet. Slide your hands down the strap so that your elbows are on the floor and you're just resting here. Or you can lay your legs completely outstretched into your traditional Shavasana. And as we're relaxing here, just reflect back on your practice today. And call to mind again if you set an intention today. If you set a goal for yourself. Do you feel that that goal was met? And for most of us, when we reflect back on our intention, it feels more like it's a journey. Very seldom do we reach a goal in one yoga class. We move forward one baby step at a time to building strength, to fine-tuning our poses, to learning more about our bodies at the stage that we are in life. So give yourself some positive self-talk for a wonderful job today and for doing your best in each and every pose. For staying mindful of your body, listening to your body, and not pushing beyond your boundaries. And we'll finish with an internal mantra. With 5 breaths, we'll breathe in the words, I am. Breathe out the word, strong. Inhale, I am. Exhale, strong. And in the comfort and safety of your own home, you may even say it out loud to affirm those words. I am strong. Two more breaths. We affirm with our mind and with our voice that we are strong. And we are building strength and finding strength. Now there's no rush to rise if you like to stay as you are, and we'll disconnect the call. There's no need to get up if you're feeling comfortable and need some more time in meditation. Otherwise, take your time to roll over onto one side. Take a couple of breaths there. And then press yourself up to a comfortable seat. Before we close our practice, just spend a moment with some gentle neck rolls. Down towards the center and over to the left. Down towards the center and over to the right. 2 more each direction. I'll take 1 more each side. And find a really nice neutral spine. Shoulders over hips, lengthen through the crown of the head. We'll take a breath in together. Press the palms into heart center. And the strength that resides within me honors the strength in each of you. Namaste. Thank you for the honor, as always, to guide you through your practice. If anyone can stay on with me for a moment, I'll shut off our YouTube recording, and I'd love to say hello and see how you did today.